without further ado, here is the new Revibe Connect. If you guys can't see my screen, let me know. I'm going to get right into our presentation. This is a preview of our new device. As you can see, it has a time display. So I'm going to let some of our other team members chime in a moment about what they're most excited about with our new Revibe. We have on the call with us, I mentioned Gwen, our Director of Operations and Engineering. We also have David Mantica, our new COO, and I believe Chris Guidry is also on the line. Chris, are you there? I'm gonna have to check in with Chris in a moment.
Yep, I'm here as well.
Chris is our Director of Technology. And so why don't we just share as a team. I'll turn it over to David and let's just all share what we're excited about with this new product.
Hello, my name is David Manica. I'm the COO of Revibe Technology. I'm relatively new to the company, but I'm extremely happy to be with this company, this organization, this product. So I have two daughters. One is 21 and one is 18. Both have ADHD. My youngest daughter, my 18-year-old, suffers from school refusal, as well as bipolar disorder and sensory processing issues. So we've had a major monumental struggle in getting her through her middle school, high school education. I have deep experience in the challenges that a number of you probably deal with day in, day out. Getting your kids to do the things you want them to do, seeing your kids get excited about being successful at school, dealing with trying to get homework done when you were both very tired and agitated and frustrated. Those passions, but those emotions are really deep in me, and still very, very much a part of who I am. So this product gets me excited because, first and foremost, it drives independence. It allows your child to self-monitor. It allows them to catch themselves instead of having somebody else catch them. And our children get frustrated day in and day out when they're constantly being told this and that. It frustrates them and makes them upset with themselves. And having a product that enables them to be more mindful of the situation they're in is going to drive independence and confidence. And the other piece of it is the homework side. The homework side for my family was very painful and very frustrating and very aggravating. And having a tool that helps them be more independent and more mindful of staying focused on their homework and giving them the ability giving me as a parent the ability to send them reminders about their homework is something that gets me very excited about this product. So I'm very a part of Revive Technology, and I'm looking forward to this focus group.
Great, thanks, David. I'm gonna turn it over to Gwen. Gwen, if you could share your video. I don't know if you're currently sharing it, but
yeah, I think my video is on. Can you see?
There you are. Okay. Great.
Hey guys, as Laura introduced, my name is Gwen Campbell, and I'm currently the Director of Operations here at Revibe Tech. And over my 3 years here at Revibe, I've gotten the pleasure to speak with thousands of different customers and parents of kids of various diagnoses. Some are not even diagnosed, but have difficulty with homework, as Dave was mentioning, or various focus and attention difficulties. And the thing that I've learned from talking one-on-one with these parents and teachers is that kids don't fit into a box. A lot of the kids struggle differently. Some may excel in math class, some may struggle in math and excel in reading. And every kid's kind of different in the way that they need to be reminded. And so the thing that I'm most excited about for Revibe Connect is we're able to actually adapt the vibration reminders to the individual kid based on different pieces of data that we're going to collect. And also day to day, say the kid is having a bad day, something happened, and they're just not really able to focus in school that day. The new device is actually able to adjust to that and maybe send them more frequent reminders. The other piece that I'm super excited about is that we can also customize settings to the individual kid. So whether it's they have their own unique schedule, or you need to send them a custom message to remember to write down their homework, there are a lot of features that you can add to Revibe Connect that will enable you to customize to whatever it is that your child needs, whether it's unique or it's the same as some other kids. So that's what I'm most excited about, where we really went above and beyond to try to meet your needs. And I hope that you guys are excited about it like we are.
Thanks, Gwen. And Chris, are you there? Can you share your video?
Sure. Can you see me?
Yeah, great.
All right. I'm Chris Guidry. I'm the Director of Technology. And for me, so I have 2 sisters that have ADHD. And, you know, growing up, I saw my parents struggle with dealing with that in school and grades and focus. And since starting on Revibe, I've, you know, read all these Amazon reviews and just in focus groups heard parents talk about the impact that Revibe 1 had on them. And like, wow, that's very powerful, and wish my parents would have had similar tools 20 years ago. Anyway, so what I'm most excited about is A, that our algorithm has helped so many children, and B, that with our second version, we'll have so much data and insights we can share with parents, teachers, and therapists to help them understand where their child is at and how they're progressing. So that's what I'm most excited about.
Thanks, Chris.
Sure.
And so I'll go last. As I said, my name is Laura Hill. I am the Director of Marketing and Content here at Revibe Tech. And I'm excited about it because we are going to be kind of treading in uncharted territory with Revibe Connect. In the past, we've had wearables that track steps and heart rate and all kinds of physical indicators of health. But with Revibe Connect, for the first time, we're actually going to be seeing some psychological indicators. We're going to be able to see data about focus and attention and things in the mental realm. So this is something that's never been done before. And so it's really exciting to me because we're going to be able to have that data along with the physical data, because we're still going to be able to track the steps and the activity, and we're going to be able to put them together and have more of a holistic view of the individual and kind of see some patterns between what's going on in their mind versus the kind of physical activity that they're having. And so I'm excited about the insights that we'll be able to glean from that. And another aspect is, over the years here as marketing director, I've heard from parents different suggestions, feedback about really what they wanted in a device, improvements, and we've really taken that to heart and been able to incorporate most of those suggestions. Parents said they wanted it to have a time display, they wanted it to look like a regular wearable like a Fitbit, or, you know, look like a watch and have that functionality. So that it blends in and it doesn't get noticed by other kids. And so we definitely did that. And we did some other things that we heard over and over again, like water resistance, and people wanted an app. So we've done that as well. So I don't want to spill the beans too much, but we're going to get into some of those details here in a moment. But those are the things that really get me excited about this launch that we're planning. So I'm going to go back into my slides so that you guys can kind of see how we're going to do those things we talked about. You're probably wondering, how in the world are we going to start collecting data on focus? And so I'm going to share my screen, get back to my presentation. And you guys will get this nice sneak preview here of Revibe Connect. So we're going to be tracking focus and physical activity throughout the school day. Is everybody seeing my slides now? Anybody?
Yep. Yes, we are.
Okay, yep. Great. And so let's get into some of the features. So Revibe Connect is going to be the world's first focus tracker. We're going to have the same vibration reminders as our original device. So the quiet vibration prompts that trigger the students to ask themselves, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Those same type reminders are going to be in this new device, but what's different is we're going to have advanced sensors that collect data on focus and behavior. So each reminder prompt is going to ask the student to tap back and report if they were on task or off task. And we're using a patent pending algorithm that learns the user's needs and is able to adapt the frequency of the reminders according to their individual needs. As I mentioned, we're going to have an app, so you'll be able to receive updates on your child's behavior on your phone. We'll be tracking focus, attention span, participation, steps, and displaying all these stats in an easy-to-read app. We will be building their confidence with positive reinforcement. So we made an effort to make the experience a positive one for them. So they'll see things like animated icons or encouraging messages when they improve. And of course, the last feature, water resistant. It's going to be able to handle splashes and spills. So we made a lot of improvements in the design over our original version. So you'll be able to stay informed and up to date about your child's behavioral progress with the app. Here's how it works, step by step. Step 1, the attention drifts. Step 2, they get the reminder vibration, and then the student is going to tap the Revibe once to report if they were off task, or twice if they were on task. And all this data gets collected and it gets displayed on the app, so you'll be able to see their focus, their responsiveness, their steps, their fidgets, and all that data is sent through the cloud. So parents will be able to view the updates through the app. And students will be able to see on the app the encouraging messages and see their progress as they improve. So here's some of the features of the app, and we'll get into a demo. You'll get to see it in a few minutes, but it's going to have some customizable settings that you'll see. You'll see that you can adjust the intensity of the vibrations. You can adjust the frequency of the reminders, and there's some other things like you can turn off the time display if you think that that is going to be an additional distraction and you don't want it to have any kind of display on the screen. You can turn that off. We have a programmable class schedule where you can enter their classes and you can view the focus per class. So you can disable reminders when you don't need it. You can program it to be off during lunch or recess or whenever you don't want them to receive those reminder vibrations. You'll see that we made an effort to make the data really easy to read. There's a couple different formats you can choose between a table, a chart, or a graph, and see the data on the different metrics, the focus, the steps, the fidgets. You can play with the time frame, see it by the day, the week, or the month, and you'll be able to see patterns over time. And one of the most exciting features is our machine learning algorithm. So each reminder vibration is going to prompt them to tap back and report if they were on task or off task. So that's how we're going to be collecting that data about their focus and their patterns in different classes. And our proprietary machine learning algorithm is going to start to learn when they need a little bit more vibration reminders versus when they're doing well. And that's how it's going to be able to tell if certain classes, maybe they struggle more and they need a little bit more of a reminder, or maybe certain classes they're doing well, they don't need it, and it'll start to back off. So that's a really cool feature that we're really excited about. And also over time, as your focus improves, then you'll also get fewer reminders with our machine learning algorithm. So this next slide shows the 6 core metrics that are tracked by Revibe Connect. The first one is the focus score, which is a composite number that takes into account several different factors. We just wanted to have one number that was a high-level overview of, in general, how their focus is progressing over time. So you'll be able to see that score, and you'll be able to have just this high-level overview of their focus. And then some of the other metrics get a little more detailed, like the attention span is measured in minutes. So that'll be the average number of minutes that they were on task. The focus rate, which is the number of times that they responded, yes, I am on task, divided by the total number of prompts. And we have the response rate, which is the number of responses divided by the total prompts. So that'll really let you see how much they're participating with the device and put kind of everything else in perspective. So you'll know if they're tapping back or not. And then the steps, pretty straightforward, the number of steps and the number of fidgets. And next we're going to do an app demonstration. So I'm going to turn it over to, let's see, Chris, are you on the line?
I am.
Okay, great. I'm going to turn it over to you. Are you ready to share your screen? I'm going to stop sharing mine.
Sure.
Great.
Let's see. Okay, can you see the app?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the dashboard or like home screen of our app. And as Laura just described, here's the metrics that we'll be reporting on. So we kind of have a few layers of the onion with the dashboard. So the first is just this tile view where you can see just a high level of where you're at for today. And if you wanted to scroll through and see previous days, you can click through the arrow and see other days. There's also a week and a month view. And you can see this rocket ship here. That's just indicating that I did like 105% or more better than the previous day. So it's one of the ways that we will show progress over time. And again, you can see that for these. I'm looking at the month view, and a lot of these are higher than the previous month for me. There's also, let me see if I can find one that's when we have basically, like if you're within 5%, then usually you'll see like a good progress. Like right here on the focus rate, you'll see good progress on this one. So we tried to add some simple little things will just help to give some insights, and we are planning on adding more of those as we go along. There's also a table view, so if you just want to see like, you know, this current month compared to the previous month, how am I doing? How's my child doing? And again, you can scroll through and see different dates. And then we have an advanced tab. If you're feeling adventurous, you can come over here and you can pick very specific days. You wanted to break it out by the hour, the day, the week, the month. And if you're really concerned about how's my child doing, you know, for example, in math class, and you could, you know, pick whatever date range you'd like, and then it will pull up graphs for that time range. And if you wanted to say just specifically how they're doing in the morning or evening, you can do that as well. So there's a lot of granularity if you care to dive into the data in more detail. And then, so one of the other powerful features we're adding is this schedule. So there's two parts to it. One is, you can see here I have like a schedule added for different classes. So what that lets us do is we can customize our algorithm to give more or less vibration prompts depending on, you know, maybe your child focuses really well in math but not as well in Spanish, so maybe they need more prompts in Spanish than math. And then, you know, during lunchtime or after school, you know, they don't need any prompts, so we can just turn off that part and turn off some of the data collection to save battery and save space on the device. So there's that part of generating their schedule, but we also have a feature to add reminders. So you could put in, you know, bring home homework, or something like that, and you could just pick the time of day. You know, say you want it at 3 o'clock, and you want it Monday through Friday. You could save that, and then they would, at 3 o'clock every day, they would get a reminder letting them know that they need to bring their homework home. So you could do that for any number of things throughout the day, and it will just give them a text-based reminder on the screen, and they'll have to tap to clear it. So if they don't see it at first, it will come back up when they try to look at the screen. So, and then those can obviously be deleted and edited as necessary. Laura, I think that was the key things. You wanted me to go? Is there anything else?
Yeah, just under the settings, if you could show them like the vibration intensity and some of the customizable, yeah, there's a few different modes if you want to just show them.
Yeah,
those
right.
different.
So, yeah, for this user, you know, you can select which device they're assigned to, and then so adaptive mode is our new mode that Gwen described, where we adjust the frequency of the vibrations and the intensity based on how well the child's doing. And then homework mode, if you guys are familiar with Revibe 1, there's one you can use where it uses the Pomodoro method and gives them, I don't know what it's like, I think 15 minutes of study time and then a 5-minute break. And then of course we still have low, medium, and high. And then if you want to just completely turn off vibrations for a while, you can just put it in off mode. And then also the vibration strength. We had some children were very sensitive to the vibrations. Some needed a very intense vibration. So with this version, we added a soft, moderate, or strong setting. So if your child is especially sensitive, you just put on the soft vibration, and it still can be felt, but it's just not going to be as jarring. There's also there's a clock on the screen, but if you find that that's distracting your child, you can just disable that, the clock there. So, and this actually will probably be hidden later, so pretend you didn't see that.
Great. I think that's so exciting. That's a great overview of all the features. And did you have anything else, or was that? I think you did a good job covering.
Yeah, I think that
all of the.
Yep.
Yep. Well, thanks, Chris.
Sure.
I'm going to turn it over to David for some Q&A, and let's get into some feedback here from you guys. If you have questions, David,
let's do this. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Very much, Laura. So we got
Welcome.
2 to 3 questions in this grouping. And so how we do the questions is as follows. So I'm going to give you the question, and you can A, text in your response, write it on in the chat zone there, and we'll be reading them. Or B, you can raise your hand and actually comment to the rest of the group. We like both. Either one works for us. It depends how excited you are about that topic, or how passionate you might be about your response. So on the app and the data, the first question is, which feature of the app is most powerful to you and why? So which feature of the app that Chris just did a phenomenal job reviewing, succinctly and detailed, is the most powerful to you and why? So you can either raise your hand and we'll unmute you, or you can type in your thoughts. And if you have your child there, which I see some folks are, getting their feedback would be fantastic as well. I got school schedule here by Diane. And again, if you want to comment verbally, I'll unmute you. The programmability and the customization, we got that as well. Add reminders. Yeah, I like to add reminders myself, big time. Adaptive. Getting the daily schedule. Okay, someone's curious about fidgets, so we'll put that off to the side and we'll explain that in just a little bit. Reminders, that's great. So as you're thinking about that, looks like nobody raised their hand, so don't worry, it's not too hard to talk in the Zoom environment. It's kind of fun. So if you want to tell us something as well, it doesn't matter, we don't need that. But if you want to tell us something, or if your child wants to say something too, don't hesitate. So the next question is the data easy to understand? So this is first a yes and no question. Is the data easy to understand? But if it's a no, what are your thoughts on how we can more clearly explain the data units? The data elements, excuse me. So is the data easy to understand? And if no, is there a way to make it more clear? All right, great. We're getting our yeses in. If anybody has their hands raised, don't hesitate to make some comments there. So Chris, while they're doing this question, can you go over real quick the fidget concept?
Sure. So first of all, we don't necessarily view fidgeting as being inherently positive or negative. We're still kind of figuring out what that will actually mean. And it could be that it varies for each child. It could be that it's, for some children, they just need to be active and they're actually paying attention when they're fidgeting. It could be that others are off task. But it's certainly something that's common with children that have ADHD. So we are going to use some machine learning to be able to figure out, based on how that wrist is moving, which is kind of a proxy for their body, to figure out like what's going on with their body. And we'd like to be able to eventually combine that data with other, the response data, and figure out like, okay, for your child, when they're fidgeting, they are paying attention or they're not, or maybe it happens more in the morning versus the evening, and maybe it's related to their sleep, or maybe they're not getting enough steps, which we also will be tracking steps. So we want to be able to combine that data with other things and be able to provide more insights about your children's behavior. So that for now, it's basically going to be, are they fidgeting or not? But we'd look to, in the future, identify more specific movements and what those different types of fidgets might mean. So
that's fantastic. Thanks, Chris. And so the last question, I want to pose to the group is, which data element is most meaningful to you? And how do you see yourself using that data? So which data element is most meaningful to you? And then how do you see yourself using that element? Raise your hand if you want to comment, or type it on in. All right, we have a time on task. Let me see if other comments we have here. Any other thoughts on which data element is most meaningful to you? Times of day where someone might be off task, that's a great one. Want to see the data when they're attending class, that's great. And that's a great point, Laura. Whomever's putting the metrics up there, they can get a relook at some of those metrics numbers. Focus rate on day to day. Data focus in class. All right, at some point we're going to get somebody to raise their hand, but we'll push that for the later sections as well. There is a question on fidgeting. Want to see the trending and weather change and more excitement when near track out? You can definitely do that. Prudence absolutely can do that based on the scheduling function and the trending data that you're going to get. All right, I think we're good on the data section, Laura, so I'm going to pass it over to you to continue with the slide presentation. Thank you all for your participation in that part of the questions.
Yep, and David, I think this next slide was one that you were wanting to discuss.
Yes, they're stuck with me again. They probably want you over me. All right, so I'm back again, and so this is a possible upgrade. So we're in partnership with a number of ADHD professionals, a lot of ADHD research projects, and one of the research projects is the idea of providing very specific, very tight, very concise information and support that is done by a highly trained psychologist and group of psychologists to enable you to get specific actionable information. So this is a personalizable upgrade that we're considering and possibly offering to you as part of the product, or maybe as an additional add-on off of our website. So you can kind of get, one or two or three of these tasks, these specific, idea information nuggets, task nuggets, sometimes we call them biglets. It's a kind of a fun term for them. So we kind of want you to look at these and think about these and how you might utilize them, and the value you would potentially put on these items. So that's what this is, and we're going to move, I think, to a poll. Correct, Lara?
Right, yeah. I'll just read one of them just as an example. Yeah, so each one of these is a separate example, but I'll just read the first one so that you get an idea. This might be something that would come to you as a text message, and it would be personalized to your child's age and some other parameters that you would set up. And so even though these specific ones might not apply to you, you can imagine that we would be sending you ones that would be very applicable to your child's situation and needs. So just to read the first one, is there a clear winner in the homework versus electronics battle for your child's attention? Give homework a fighting chance by moving to a neutral location. Institute an e-free zone away from cell phones, computers, and gaming consoles where homework is the only option. Can't turn off the computer completely? Consider blocking distracting sites during homework time. And so all of these type of tips would be vetted by professionals to make sure that they're based on legitimate research, and that's part of the value in them, is that we know that they're coming from a really good source. So I'm going to go ahead and send out a poll to everyone. It's just 2 or 3 quick questions about this idea of having an option to receive these personalized tips. So you should see a pop-up here, and there's just 3 multiple choice questions. If you could just answer. Are you guys seeing the poll? It's question 1. If you could receive content like this on a regular basis that was developed specifically for your child, would this be of value to you? Yes, no, not sure. You guys can go ahead and click. Is everybody seeing it? I'm not seeing anybody voting yet.
I'm sorry, Laura, we're getting some action now. We got 8 people voting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's working.
Oh, good. I'm not seeing that results. Question 2, how often would you like to receive content like this? I would not be willing to pay extra, or I would like to receive it weekly. I would like to receive it daily. Question 3, would you be willing to pay an additional price?
11 respondents now. It's like a, it's like, what do you call it, a telephone. 13 respondents now.
Okay, great. I'll just leave it open for a few more seconds, just in case anyone's still working on those questions. And
before we move on, as we're doing, does anybody have any, if you have any open comments you'd like to make about these knowledge nuggets or support nuggets, if you could put those in your chat window, that'd be great. Oh.
David, your audio is cutting in and out. I don't know if you can hear me, but it's very staticky.
Yeah, yours is clear, Laura.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll, and we'll move on back to the slides. Have a few more slides to share.
I think you can probably hear me better now. No,
it's staticky.
Okay.
All right, so thank you everyone for your answers to those poll questions. So hopefully you're seeing my screen now. Someone let me know if you're not. It should show a slide about the lifetime replacement warranty. So we're going to be a money back guarantee that we had with our first Revibe. We want you to be satisfied. We want you to be happy with it. And so that's why we give a full 90-day return policy. So you can check it out and see if it's a good fit for your needs. And if you try it and you decide for any reason you'd like to return it, we're happy to offer you a full refund. Is everybody hearing me okay? I'm not able to see the chat, so I just want to check in with one of my co-hosts.
Yep, sounds loud and clear.
Okay,
Definitely.
great, thank you. So I want to talk about our data. We're going to offer as part of our app the first 30 days of data for free. So you'll get a free 30-day trial when you purchase the device of the data plan. And I want to talk a little bit about our data collection. All of our data that we're going to be collecting is going to be stored privately on a HIPAA compliant server. And the device itself is going to have a 6-axis accelerometer, which means that it's going to be collecting the full body range of motion. So it's not just a step tracker, it's a little bit more advanced than that. We're going to be able to tell like when the child's raising their hand and participating in class, if they're just tapping the pencil on the desk, maybe they're doing some other type of fidgeting motion. And for that reason, we're actually collecting a lot of data points. So it's much more than the typical wearable device, which is why we have this data plan, so that if you choose to want to subscribe to our app, you'll be able to see all of that data stored in the cloud and be able to track that data over time. So the app will be collecting data like the gender, their birth year, their grade level, and this data really allows us to customize the insights and to customize the user experience so that it's specific to the needs of the individual. So next I just want to overview our pricing model for the next version. The device cost is $124.95. And we also have a couple options with the data and warranty protection plan. So the lifetime warranty that I mentioned is built into the data subscription. And we have two different options for that. You can either subscribe to the annual billing, which is the best value. You get a little bit of a discount when you sign up for the annual billing, or you can do month to month. And as I mentioned, you will get the first 30 days free, and you can decide if you want to subscribe to the data storage so that you can track their progress over time and get some of those other features. You can see we've listed there all of the features that you get when you subscribe to the data plan. So you'll get the customizable class schedule, the adaptive learning mode, those custom text reminders, and of course the lifetime replacement warranty. So we have this quote that we like to say here in the office: what can't be measured cannot be improved. And so this is really exciting because we've never really been able to measure any kind of intervention that we've been offering our students who are struggling with focus and attention. It has in the past required a counselor observing them or a teacher's feedback. And so we didn't really have a good way to collect and quantify that data about behavior. So that's really what's exciting about Connect, is that we're going to be able to do that, and it's going to take the burden off of the school employees and really allow the parents and the teachers and the students to all be on the same page, because they'll be able to see this data. They'll be able to make decisions about the students' needs based on data. And so a lot of schools have been moving towards making all these decisions data-based, but the problem has been that it's been so labor-intensive for the school employees to collect this data, requiring the counselors or the school psychologists to manually observe the students. And there's just been such a large number of students that really needed some type of intervention, that the schools really needed a technology like this. So we're really excited that coming for this school year, fall 2018, coming very soon, we're going to be able to offer this tool.